And we're getting ready for dinner here in Diane's kitchen. And what's on the menu? Crepes. Crepes that I got the recipe from, or Palacsinta for the Hungarians. I got the recipe from a cookbook in the 1950s that my mother had, and I got a copy of right before I got married at a garage sale. I got the exact copy, but I had a nicer copy, which is now falling apart. But I put the recipes for my favorite things into a cookbook one year when I was unemployed. Dr. Diane's Family Favorites cookbook. And this is the cover. It's such a favorite. I had someone make it up and laminate all the pages, but they just don't stay attached to the ring binder. So the dirty one, which is the paper one, is they stay on, but you get all that. Here's the cover, and you get all the food dirt, the food sprinklings on the pages. But my kids, I've given them 2 or 3 copies of it, and that was what their Christmas present was, and a couple of other family members, that was their Christmas present, because I was unemployed for quite a while and living in New York City, and so I made this cookbook for them and gave those copies to them. So the pan is heating, and the way I taught my kids to know if the pan is hot enough, you sprinkle water on it, and if the water dances, can you see that? The water's dancing. That means it's hot enough to cook the pancakes on. So before I get started, I mixed it up. I was on the phone. So I mixed up the part of the batter. And what that consists of is a half a cup of all-purpose flour. A half cup. See? Use that. A teaspoon of sugar. A 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I can show you this. A 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 2 eggs separated, 7/8 cup milk, and a 1/2 tablespoon of oil or melted butter. I separated the eggs and put the eggs and the milk and the oil together in a measuring cup, mixed them up. And so this is the batter. And then you have to whip the egg whites and add that in. And this is kind of a traditional way of making crepes. So where's I don't have my spatula, is on the counter, so I'll use a new spatula. And let me see if I can turn this to show that I'm adding the egg whites in to the batter. And then they're kind of floating on the batter, and you kind of have to actually, a whisk is not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is this spatula, to gently fold in the egg whites that have been whipped up with a mixer. You want them to be stiff, but you don't want to mix them too far, make it too far gone, otherwise they separate. So this will cook up nice and fluffy. It adds air, kind of like a souffle. You have to do kind of the same thing with a souffle and put it in the oven. I'm not sure if this would make a nice Dutch Dutch pancake, which you can cook in the oven, and it puffs up almost like Yorkshire pudding or popovers. So this is hot enough. I'm gonna get some spray, cooking spray, and spray the pan, which is really hot. And then I'm going to, it's a little bit too hot, take it off there. It's a little bit too hot. But then I'm going to add the batter. And you want to swirl it around so it's nice and thin, but you can see that it's fluffy, and you can see it's starting to brown already on the bottom. Where's my... Okay. The best way to tell when pancakes or crepes are done is you start to see these bubbles form and they become dry. My father actually taught me that when he was teaching me how to make pancakes. And you can tell because when they're dry, it means they cooked through and the air or the heat came through. And so it's still kind of wet, but you can kind of pick it up on the edge and see how brown it is. It's light brown. It's almost cooked, almost ready to turn. And yeah, it's getting dry enough. Just this little area here where it's a little bit too puffy, but I'm gonna scoot this under and flip it. And so I'm really proud because I was watching Jim Gaffigan's family, which I do every night at dinner, and they were having chili dogs, which looked really good because I haven't had a hot dog in a long time. I haven't had sausage because I can't swallow whole foods, solid foods. I'm getting just a plate to put these on. And this is my Salvation Army. It was an incomplete set, but it is a great, beautiful set of dishes. But they were having chili dogs, and I can't eat chili dogs, so there we go. Crepe number 1 is done. Here you can see. Can you see it? Too much light? No, it's the halogen lights above here. So, and then we can just spray this again. Hot wok, cold oil, food won't stick. Remember that. The Frugal Gourmet used to say that in the 80s and 90s. Hot wok, cold oil, food won't stick. So let's take this. We're doing it again. You don't want it too hot, but make sure you don't heat the oil because sometimes the food will stick. So Jim Gaffigan's having these chili dogs, and he's having a live YouTube session that he also records and posts to YouTube later, and usually I don't get to watch him while they're doing it, so I just happened to notice, oh, it's 6 o'clock, they're having dinner. I turn on YouTube, and they're having the live chat, and I was like, oh, that looks so good, so I just typed in, and I've been typing stuff in, and, you know, another time when I was on the live chat, but they didn't recognize that question, but he handed the camera to his older daughter, he's got 2 daughters, and I said, oh, that looks so good. I'm making crepes for dinner. And she's like, oh, someone's having crepes for dinner. I'm so jealous. So I felt like, wow, I got mentioned on Jim Gaffigan's Dinner with the Gaffigans on YouTube. But she didn't say my name. So this is crepe number 2. Now, this is enough crepes for how many crepes? I think it makes about 6, maybe 4 to 6. Yeah, it's more than 4. 5 or 6 crepes. I can't eat 5 or 6 crepes right now. I guess I could either make them and freeze them, or I can make them and then put the batter in the fridge and cook some tomorrow, fresh. However, you know, the egg whites kind of deflate. So you're not going to get the fluffiness of these, but you'll get some, it's a thin batter, you'll get some crepes. So I think I'm just going to make 2 crepes, and that's it. Now one of the things that I have learned, well, I learned it from the House of Pancakes. They put the Swedish pancakes, they put lingonberry jelly and cream. I'm going to turn the stove off. But I will take some jam and some butter or not butter, my Earth Balance organic whipped buttery spread. Can I get this down? Oh, I hate adjusting this thing. Let's see. Wow, it doesn't want to stay put, but so I take the, oh God, I'm sorry. I'll turn it this way. Some jam, some buttery spread, and I will just, sometimes you can make some whipped cream or you can use mascarpone. And put that on the crepe. Get this out of the way. Put that on the crepe, like so. And then my father always taught me, boy, my father and I did not get along for very much, but he taught me a lot of things. And he said, don't put a buttery knife into the jam or it will get moldy. So you put the jam on top of the butter as much as you want and spread it around and then roll it up. And you have a, what in Hungary, when I would have dinner there and they would have actually scrambled pancakes. They would take pancake batter and scramble it into like lumps of pancake, and then they serve that with jam or jellies, lekvar, they call it lekvar, and we would eat that for dinner. But this is kind of more of a French thing, and you roll it up and cut it, slice it, and enjoy the, or you could just have the plain crepe. Sometimes I don't even put butter or anything on it. I just eat the crepe plain. So that's my dinner, and I hope you're having a good dinner too. I will be back. I'm gonna make some other things that are in my recipe book, breads, because I'm running out of bread. And there's a chicken farm near me that sells eggs, and I used to get 30 eggs from there at a time. I have a lot of things I want to make, like a souffle, which I may make on video. And I called them and they're open, so I don't really want to go out of my house, but I'm just going to go from my apartment to my car alone, go there, put a mask on and gloves, get my 30 eggs, pay and go, and then come home. Hopefully that's not gonna, I mean, I may have to start from square one because I have not been out of the house for how many days? Today's the 23rd. 10 days, 11 days. Trying to get to the 14-day point, but now it's starting to get critical. And yet people in Florida are still holding live. Let's get together at this restaurant. Let's get together at this whatever. I can't believe the restaurants are even serving these people. But let's get together for play some games. I'm like, you guys are touching the same playing cards and the same game pieces. Why? Enjoy your dinner. Stay safe. Hopefully this will be over soon. I'm not gonna count on it, but stay safe, stay happy, talk to somebody, wash your hands. Bye.